Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Daniel, and I want to talk about the Switch 2. I've been using this guy for over a week now, and I love the console. I think it is everything that we asked for from a Switch successor, from a Switch Pro, even. That's really what this feels like. Ultimately, it feels like a Switch Pro. There are a lot of features I think that do make it worthwhile for the two, right? Like it's earned its number, for sure. But I think for me specifically, going from the Switch OLED, it feels a lot more like a Pro. I think if you are coming from a regular Nintendo Switch, it will feel more like a next generation leap. So far, all I've played on the Switch 2 is Mario Kart World. I dabbled with Pokemon Scarlet. I checked out Tears of the Kingdom, Switch 2 Enhanced. And they're phenomenal. All of it's phenomenal. 4K, HDR. It is amazing. The frame rate boosts in those two Switch 1 games I mentioned are really good. They are worth the upgrade. I think the console itself is worth $450. I think the what you're getting as a package, it is very comparable to something like a PlayStation 5, honestly. I think the closest comparison on average will be the Series S. But I do really think like there are games. I was playing Fortnite on this, and it's very comparable to Fortnite on the PS5. To be honest with you, I think it looks better than the Series S. Not quite as good as the PS5, so it's like right in between those two consoles. I love the design of this. The magnetic Joy Cons feel way more secure than they do not wiggle, they do not budge. I haven't jerry rigged, pulled these off to test them. He did that, they survived. I'm just going to trust his video. I can't say the same thing for the Switch OLED. This, you can just hear it. It literally wiggles all the time. And this mechanism, like, it's crazy because it's so crazy how you can get a new piece of technology, and if it's a good enough piece of technology, it immediately makes the last one feel outdated. And that's exactly what Nintendo's done. Everything about the Switch OLED, even though this is still a premium device, like the build quality of this is still good. 100%. This is still a great machine, but it just feels old. And furthermore, after holding the Switch 2 in my hands, okay, this is a huge machine. For Nintendo standards, right? This is a big device, okay, in your hands. And you'll be doing this. And then if you go back, even just, again, the Switch OLED here, this feels like going from this to the Switch Lite. Like, this feels tiny. This feels more like a toy. It feels just overall, I don't know. Honestly, in a good way, it makes it feel less fragile. I always thought that the OLED felt super fragile because, it's like mostly the Joy-Cons. Felt like at any moment it was just going to fucking fall apart. But Switch 2 fixes everything. Joysticks are full size. I don't know if I can get a good comparison there, but joysticks, you can kind of see that. They're a little bigger. Maybe this side. It's kind of hard, huh? Face buttons are bigger. Everything is just bigger about the buttons, the overall feeling. These are still digital. These triggers. Not a huge fan of that. But overall, I don't know. I feel like it is a worthwhile upgrade. The kickstand for me, this is another thing I really think is funny, is everyone's sitting here wowing about the kickstand. And again, it's worthwhile if you are comparing it to the Nintendo Switch original. But if you compare it to the Switch OLED, it's like, we already had that, it's really weird to see Nintendo target original Switch users, which makes me think that we will eventually get an OLED version of the Switch 2. We will obviously, I would hope, get a Switch Lite. Sorry, there was a dust on there. We'll eventually get a Switch Lite, I hope, for the Switch 2 Lite. Is that what that would be called? I think that'd be awesome. I think that'll be a really great experience overall because, like I said, this already feels like one device. I think that was the biggest benefit to the Switch Lite specifically, is it felt like it was a unibody design. It felt complete, didn't feel like loosey-goosey. This feels like a complete device, even though these Joy-Cons do separate. I think I can go like this, kind of wiggle it in my hand, and it doesn't feel like it's going to collapse. If I did the same thing with this, you can hear it. It's like, you can feel the Joy-Con. Like, there's play to them, you know? Didn't like that. Anyway, other than the comparison to the OLED model, I really think that, like I said, the gameplay experience across the board is fine. I think the launch lineup of basically Mario Kart World is really all there is. I was actually looking into, I'm going to be going on a camping trip this weekend for Father's Day. And this, I'm going to bring this with me because, you know, now it's the older console. So if it gets dirty or something drops or whatever, not going to be as upset about it. But I was downloading like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, that I was downloading, you know, Mario Party and Switch Sports, just some party games to bring in case we get bored or have some downtime or whatever. And on the Switch 1, it shows you software that's not compatible with it. And I was like, oh yeah, cool, that'd be nice to see all my Switch 2 games. Mario Kart World and Fortnite. That's it. Those are the only two Switch 2 like exclusives. And again, it's Fortnite is doing like, there's a Switch 2 version of Fortnite you have to download. And then there's the Fortnite for Nintendo Switch is now the new name for the original Fortnite. Kind of like Minecraft. You know how Minecraft went from like Minecraft for PlayStation 3 or Wii U or Xbox 360, and then when they brought it over to like the next generation with PlayStation 4, Xbox One, it's just Minecraft, right? That's kind of what Fortnite's doing. Like, this is just Fortnite. This is Fortnite for Nintendo Switch, you know? Again, it looks great, can't complain, but it's really weird. It's really sad, and I understand where people are coming from when they say it's underwhelming, you know, the launch lineup, because if you're not a Mario Kart fan, you know, Fortnite you can play on anything, basically, at this point. You can play it on your iPhone again, you know, so it's really difficult justifying the Switch 2 on launch. But, again, if you're a Mario Kart World, or if you're a Mario Kart fan, you are eating good, 100%. I think that is a phenomenal experience. I might do my own separate review of that later on, but I think the Switch 2 is, or Mario Kart World on the Switch 2 is literally like, it was for me. I am the target audience for that, 100%. Now, the unboxing of the Switch 2, I'm going to go ahead and put that here. It was not a good unboxing experience. I don't think I want to upload that as its own video. So, here it is now. But, yeah, unboxing, it was really nice. I did hear a lot of people talking about how they, you know, were getting like their receipts stapled to the front of their boxes, and that was damaging the screens. That really sucks. I think Nintendo should have done a lot better job of, I get it, they want you to unbox it and immediately have the Switch 2 there, the Joy-Cons are there, pick up and play, right? It's right there, you don't need anything else technically to just get going. That's great, but again, would have been nice to maybe have a little layer of protection between that, you know, pure cardboard, I guess. But again, who the hell stapling? Like, why staple anything to the box? First off, like, you shouldn't be, tape it. Use a piece of tape. First off, okay? But whatever. Besides the Switch 2, when I got that, I also went ahead and picked up the official Switch case. And this box, first off, upsets me because, well, you have the case one way, the words go the other way. Is this way for the logo. It's a mess, but it's a good quality case. I'll give you that much. I do really like that the Switch like logos here, right, or the colors are on the little things for the from the joysticks there, or even just the Joy-Con like that. I think that's a really cool touch. But yeah, it's a hard shell case. It's not as hard as I'd want it to be. I think there is some give. If I put the Switch 2 in this, and you push down on the top of it enough, you do feel, you can click the joysticks. Not a huge fan of that, but it's a good case nonetheless. It holds 6 game cartridges, which I don't utilize because I've kind of gone all digital with the Switch. Comes with a plastic screen protector and a cleaning cloth. It's fine. It's not great. As a free little thing inside, it's okay. Would have loved to see a glass screen protector. And then it has a pouch here that I use to hold the, whatever these called, the Joy-Con straps. That's what they're called, right? So, yeah. Like I said, it's nice to have everything right here in one little go. There's no straps to keep the Switch in, so you just place it in and close it. That's it. And like I said, if you zip it up and everything. You can, I don't know if you'll hear that, but you can click those joysticks. I don't know, not my favorite thing. I think that it is a solid case. Now, the other thing I got for this was the Switch 2 Pro controller. This feels miles better than the Switch one. I was kind of, I don't know what the word is, downplaying what everyone was saying about the controller compared to the Switch 1 Pro controller. The joysticks, everything is like the same proportion, same size buttons, same everything. I did notice that the buttons for plus and minus are raised. You can see it on my forehead there. Versus the Switch 1 controller. They're more flush with the controller. But other than that, these joysticks, like, you probably can't hear that. Versus this one, you can kind of hear it. You can hear it grind. Now, I've had this one for years now, so to be fair, that could be a part of the problem. But I do think the buttons, the buttons are way quieter on the Switch 2 Pro controller. It's just an overall quieter controller. I like the. I'm really upset about this actually, but I do like the color of this, right? The black with a little bit of, it's like a light gray, right? Dark white, whatever you want to call that. I really love the black and white of the Switch OLED, and I'm upset that there wasn't a black and white option for the Switch 2, but of course they give us this controller, and I'm like, you know how nice it would have looked to have this like dark gray, you know, behind the joysticks on the Joy-Con. Whatever, it is what it is. Could have done it, but they chose not to. I will be really upset when they bring that out, probably for the OLED model. It is what it is. And yeah, so I think the Pro controller, obviously the biggest upgrade is the grip buttons. You have grip left and grip right. I don't know if I'm going to use them, honestly. I mean, I'm going to try. I've never used a controller with back buttons. They are right where your middle fingers would be if you're gripping the controller normally. They are mappable. I think I've seen some mixed things online, so I haven't tested it yet, but I think that some people say that you can use them across any game. It's a hardware-based thing, so you map them to those buttons, and then they work as those buttons in any game. And then I've heard other people say that it's specific to each game. So the game has to support a Pro controller in the sense of this one. I don't know. I would assume, because they also sell a charging grip for the Joy-Cons that have these back buttons. If you bought that, you know, I don't know. I have to find it. The plastic is it's such a like smoother, almost slippery, I would say. It's very smooth. I noticed the original Switch Pro controller had this like, it kind of looks like it's trying to be leather. I don't know. I don't have the best lighting in here, but it has this like texture to it, and obviously has this translucent plastic, so you can kind of see the clips and little screws in there. I thought it was a cool design. I thought it was like, you know, modern. You can actually see the battery. Actually, you can see the battery really well behind there. So that's cool. This one is not. This one's just a solid black plastic. You can't see through it at all. No special texture or anything on the on that. So I don't know. I think overall, it doesn't matter ultimately. I'm just trying to point out the differences. The only major difference besides these back buttons is the chat button. Which leads me into the camera. I did not pick up the camera because I don't think I'm the target audience for it. The game chat feature is awesome. I got to use game chat with my friend Antonio. In regards to, you know, we played some Mario Kart World. I was able to see his screen. I shared mine with his. Yes, it was choppy as they showed in the advertisements. Neither of us picked up the camera, but I can't imagine seeing our faces being like adding any significance to the gameplay. And then the only game now, unless a game comes out that's like, oh my gosh, I need to play this game. I need the camera to play this game. Like if I felt that way, I'll pick it up. But at the moment, the only game I think of that is like using it heavily is Mario Party Jamboree and its DLC. which is fine. I love Mario Party Jamboree. The DLC I think is $20 if I'm not mistaken, which is fine. But then I look at the Mario Party, the mini games, just some mini games that have camera controls, and also there's a new like Bowser TV game show mode that you can play, which reminds me a lot of the Bowser mode on Mario Party 10 that required amiibo. Again, it's great that it's there, but when you really do the math, like you're gonna spend $20 on the DLC, and then to get the full use of that DLC, you got to spend $50 for the camera. So then that makes it basically a $70 thing, unless you plan to use the camera for game chat, right? It's the same thing with the chat button, right? People are throwing fit about how if you don't pay for Nintendo Switch Online, then this game chat button is going to be useless because you can't use game chat unless you have NSO. And right now there's a free trial period. I think it'll be free until March of next year, but it'll eventually be locked behind the paywall of NSO, so that will make this chat button virtually useless. So this is a, what, 80, well, I pay for the family membership, but $50 a year button? Like, okay, weird choice, but they are optional. They are all optional, not the button. I guess you're stuck with the button anyway. But the camera's optional. The games that come with it, like, again, if there's a game that comes out with it, or it comes out that just, is like, yes, this is 100% worthwhile. It will be a great experience. Basically, I have to tell myself that the game is worth whatever the price is plus $50 for the camera. Like, if that's how I feel about it, then I will pick up the camera. I've seen some reviews of the camera. It's high build quality, low resolution. Again, like I said, it's just, for me, it's not worth it. I don't want to be buying all this stuff just to do unboxings and stuff for you guys. Like, that's not why I'm doing this channel, to kind of document my experience with things, what I'm excited for. And this is going to make playing through Tears of the Kingdom amazing. The Switch 2 is going to make playing through Tears of the Kingdom amazing. The case, I realistically probably will get a different case in the future. Either the Satisfy grip and its case. Maybe I've seen D-Brand's Kill Switch case, looks really cool. I just wanted a case for day one to bring it home, and it was this or the On case from like Walmart. And I don't know. Like, you gotta. This is a hype thing for me more than anything. I kind of wish I did get the launch case for like the Switch OLED, for example, but it is what it is. I think the Switch 2 is a phenomenal device. I think overall it is, like I said, it's worth the $450. It's, when you really look at what's going on with pricing and stuff, I mean, I paid $350 for the Switch OLED. I think the Switch 2 is worth $100 more than that. Should it be cheaper? Because the technology, I mean, it's newer technology. It's not cutting edge, but it's comparable, right? It's going to run modern games really well. It'll probably run future games decent enough, the same way like Witcher 3 ran on the Switch. It was fine. The Switch 2 will eventually get to that point, right? A few years from now. But by that point, they're going to release, like I said, a Switch Lite, a Switch OLED, a Switch whatever. They're going to have special editions. They're going to have things to keep it fresh and exciting. I think this generation is going to be really good for Nintendo. I've heard that they sold over 3 million units in 4 days, making it like the largest, hardware thing. Outsold the Steam Deck in 4 days, which is crazy. So yeah, I think if you haven't picked it up, if you're thinking about picking it up, again, you could definitely wait. You could definitely wait until other games come out. We got Donkey Kong Bonanza, Metroid Prime 4. There's stuff coming out for sure. But if you like Mario Kart, if you want to replay some of your favorite games, like, it does do a lot of good upscaling and frame rate boost for, patched games. Some Switch games are just getting better frame rates by default. Like, the developers have not done anything for it. And, I think Bayonetta is one of them. Bayonetta 3 specifically is a game that runs better now, which is really cool to see. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the Switch 2 after about a week. I will probably do another little update, in a few months, in a year, etc. Kind of keep things on par with my other consoles. And I'll try to use it regularly. Like I said, I bring it to work, but I'm actually thinking about making it my go-to Fortnite machine for a little while, but I'm really upset that Nintendo locks the V-Bucks behind their system. If I earn V-Bucks in the game on my Switch 2, I cannot spend that on my PlayStation or Xbox. Come on, Nintendo. Stop being like that. Anyway, my name is Daniel. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one.